When I hear what we call music, it seems to me that someone is talking, and talking about his feelings or about his ideas of relationships. But when I hear traffic, the sound of traffic here on 6th Avenue, for instance, I don't have the feeling that anyone is talking. I have the feeling that sound is acting. And I love the activity of sound. What it does is it gets louder and quieter, and it gets higher and lower, and it gets longer and shorter. It does all those things which I'm completely satisfied with that. I don't need sound to talk to me. We don't see much difference between time and space. We don't know where one begins and the other stops. The sound experience, which I prefer to all others, is the experience of silence. And the silence almost everywhere in the world now is traffic. If you listen to Beethoven or to Mozart, you see that they're always the same. But if you listen to traffic, you see it's always different.
This is the purest example of John's ideas of letting sounds be themselves. It's a musical composition in which the pianist sits at a piano, and the music is the ambient sounds in the room during those 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
What in this particular case Cage has done is simply presented them a formal setting for them to perceive reality as art, perceive life as art.
You won't believe this probably, but I wrote 433 note by note, and all the notes were silent, but they all had different lengths. And when I added them all up, they came to 433. I would simply listen. I think the sounds are continually taking place. One of the things that's been noticed from a musical point of view is the many coughs that take place at concerts. And for most of our musical literature, coughing is a kind of interruption or a flaw. It has nothing to do with the music. Whereas if we have an interest in sound, rather than, that is to say, the experience of listening, a cough is as audible and finally as interesting as any other sound.
It was after I got to Boston that I went into the anechoic chamber at Harvard University. Anybody who knows me knows this story. I am constantly telling it. Anyway, in that silent room, I heard two sounds, one high and one low. Afterward, I asked the engineer in charge why, if the room was so silent, I had heard two sounds. He said, describe them. I did. He said, the high one was your nervous system in operation. The low one was your blood in circulation.
Studying with Henry Cowell, so that I knew that he had obtained sounds on the strings of the piano by plucking them, or by muting them, or by stroking them, this kind of sound. Or this kind of sound. And so I extended the idea to putting objects between the strings. The first object I put, not between the strings, but on the strings, was a pie plate. And that jangled and moved about. So then I knew it had to be something that was fixed. And first I put a nail, and it slipped. Finally, I put a wood screw. And because of the grooves in the screw, it stayed sufficiently long in position to give a sound that could be repeated. Why do they call me a composer then, if all I do is ask questions? I have nothing to say, and I am saying it.